top of outplaying Edwards in their ace showdown, Alexander shined all over. With lockdown defense, he pretty much erased Anthony Edwards from the game. Oklahoma proved they're the strongest title contender right now. Now they're aiming for a 2-0 lead in the conference finals at home. Meanwhile, Minnesota got blown out last time, but if they win tonight, they'd steal home court advantage. No changes in the starting lineup. With Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting his MVP trophy, the game tipped off. Holmgren's off-ball buckets, just like last game, showed up early, and Oklahoma's trademark defense locked in right away. But then Lou Dort collided with ref Scott Foster. The game actually stopped because of bleeding, something you never see. Now even the refs are getting hit. While everyone was rattled from the rare scene, Jalen Williams and Alexander quickly scored for OKC, showing off their 1-2 punch power. Meanwhile, Julius Randle already looked off his game super early. After the ref, now Dort bumps into his own teammate. At least Minnesota attacked OKC's stacked paint defense by taking advantage of their weaker perimeter coverage.
Gilgeous-Alexander falling away, off the glass, banks it home. 9 straight points to lead.
But Shai went on a scoring run and led the offense. On his MVP night, he played with extra fire. One good thing for Minnesota was Donte DiVincenzo, who'd been struggling, finally knocked down shots early today. Edwards, who had a rough time against Cason Wallace in Game 1, looked a bit sharper this time. Either way, Edwards gave the volume scoring they count on him for, but OKC's role players weren't hitting threes. Still, they tried to hold onto their lead despite cold shooting. But unlike Game 1, Minnesota's bench started showing up, especially with both DiVincenzo and Naz Reid heating up. Their bench production, which killed them last game, came alive, while OKC kept bricking threes in frustration. By mid-quarter, Minnesota finally flipped the score. Surprise Chris Paul check-in. But for OKC, who were losing the bench battle, they had Alex Caruso bringing that veteran energy. Tonight, Caruso chipped in not just on defense, but offense too. Minnesota's choice to sag off him kept backfiring. Even in zone defense, you can't just leave him open. Still, McDaniel's defense on Shai wasn't easy to crack.
On the drive, Edwards and one. Anthony Edwards powers to the bucket and a chance for a 3-point play.
Edwards said he watched Game 1 film until 3 a.m., and he definitely came out more aggressive than before. But OKC's turnover-forcing defense never let up.
Was hit some buckets early. With about a 5-second different shot clock and game clock. Gilgeous-Alexander with three-pointer, knocks it down with McDaniels right there.
Then Shai, who had cooled off, drilled a pull-up 3 over McDaniels. That helped OKC keep the lead heading into halftime. Edwards' high number of shot attempts was impressive, but Shai still had the edge in both volume and efficiency. SGA versus Edwards' first-half stats. In the second half, Alexander kept knocking down shots smoothly, while Randle's slump stayed steady in the worst way. Minnesota's only bright spot as they fell behind was that Gobert finally started grabbing some rebounds after being invisible. Honestly, Minnesota shouldn't be losing the big man matchup. And since OKC kept missing threes like they did in the first half, the Wolves managed to hang around, even if barely. Their transition game got going too, keeping it somewhat close. Of course, Alexander's smooth and steady play never stopped. He blew past defenders to hit 20 points.
Alexander Walker with the foul, counted and one. His cousin fouled him, and SGA with a chance for a 3.
Then added an and one that left the defense helpless. He was once again proving exactly why he's the MVP. Meanwhile, Randle kept disappointing fans with his shaky play. OKC controlled the tempo and slowly stretched the lead. It started looking a lot like Game 1 all over again. And just when Minnesota couldn't afford mistakes, turnovers hit them one after another. Alexander kept grinding like clockwork, looking straight up like MJ at this point.
Finds Gobert, knocked away by SGA. Here comes Wallace, alley-oop to Holmgren.
His steal led to a Holmgren dunk in transition that nearly blew the game wide open. Then Anthony Edwards, quiet for a while, finally scored again at the line. But by then, the momentum was fully OKC's. Even a block that could have flipped momentum got whistled as a foul. Coach's challenge, but the call stood. Then OKC's only problem, their threes, finally started falling. On top of that, Randall struggled badly against their pesky defense.
But he's just 2 for 11 and frustrated.
Offensive foul on Randall. Williams right there.
He even picked up a weak offensive foul, flashing back to his Knicks days. That just showed how tough OKC's defense was. So the home team delivered another third quarter promise like Game 1. Before long, the lead was over 20 points. SGA with 30+ in 5 straight playoff games. Minnesota didn't want another garbage time loss. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker off the bench gave them a lift. Caruso getting into foul trouble was a small twist too. Caruso picked up his 5th with 10 minutes left in the 4th. The Wolves' job now was just cutting it back to single digits. In today's game, that kind of gap isn't really safe. And OKC had to worry about stacking up fouls. They trimmed it under 15 with 8 minutes left. But Edwards missed a layup that killed the team's momentum. His shooting slump couldn't have come at a worse time.
Drive with 1 man in front of him.
He's got 19. Gilgeous-Alexander, elbow jumper, got it.
Meanwhile, Alexander hit a jumper to silence their run. That's exactly the kind of dagger buckets superstars deliver. Then Shai drew a couple of his signature fouls, which frustrated McDaniels into shoving him. Sure, McDaniels was upset his last offensive foul wasn't called, but this one went down as a flagrant. To be fair, he shoved him pretty obviously. Even so, Minnesota still hadn't fully given up.
8 on the 24. Edwards drives baseline, left-handed, flips it up and in. Gorgeous move from Anthony Edwards.
That's ridiculous.
Edwards finally woke up late, giving them one last hope. They didn't have much time left though. Caruso fouled out after battling foul trouble all night. OKC just needed one more dagger to lock it in, and Randall got benched late in the 4th. Jalen Williams hit a clutch 3 to calm things down.
SGA inside, and Johnson lays it in.
Then Alexander added a slick highlight layup. That basically sealed the Game 2 win. Minnesota's solid comeback attempt ended there. OKC cruised to a 2-0 series lead at home. The Wolves at least looked better than in their flat Game 1. But compared to Edwards, Randall's struggles were shocking. Meanwhile, Alexander tied his playoff career high in scoring, and he celebrated his MVP in style in front of the home crowd.
Lie to my face,